do I take the year at Arsenal?
Yeah.
Or do I take the 4 years at Charlton? And Charlton's like South London, so it just made more sense to sign for Charlton, even though at the time Arsenal was probably the best team to go to.
Yeah.
Getting called up to England under 16s, that was a very a big achievement for me at the time. So I played for England under 16s, 17s, 18s, and 19s. Wow. So getting called up for England was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
In the football industry, even from a young age, you have to. The good thing about it does install discipline in your life. So, like for instance, as you just said, so if my friends are going out, say my friends are going out to a party or something, and I've got a game the next day, I can't go to that party. I've just got to really think about myself.
Okay.
And if I'm honest, it's about being reliable.
Yeah.
If and taking accountability for your actions. That's what the older I've got, the more I realise that I said to my dad, I said to my agent, I said I want to quit football. I don't want to play no more. I want to come back to London. Yeah. I said I'm in Nottingham by myself. I was 19 at the time. I'm in Nottingham by myself, injured. I was depressed. I was in the dark. I was doing like I was just sitting in the dark. I was so stressed and depressed. Like there are kids. They are our kids.
Yeah.
But it's still your time. So, and if I'm honest, you're not getting accommodated for the time right now. Like if they make it to a professional level, it might be accommodated. And even if they don't make it, at least they've learned.
So we're really honoured and excited today to welcome an incredible guy who represents Antigua and Barbuda national football team, has also played for Charlton Athletic in the Premier League and is now the current Dagenham and Redbridge left winger. So it's with great pleasure to welcome Myles Weston to the show to share his secrets and sacrifices of his professional football journey so far and much, much more. So Myles, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No problem at all. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, because I know you're really busy at the moment. So thank you for spending some time with us. So before we start, Myles, so the listeners can get to know you a little bit better, my children have come up with 10 quick-fire would you rather questions. And because it's a family portrait, my children, Sebastian, Harper and Mason, are going to ask you some questions now. So I'm going to pass you over to them and they'll start the show off for us.
Would you rather game or read a book?
Game. Game.
What's your favourite game?
I would like to say, I used to play Call of Duty a lot, but I stopped now. I ain't got the time.
You ready, Harps?
Yeah. Would you rather earn $1 million or win $1 million?
Earn $1 million.
Earn $1 million. Good choice, Harps?
Would you rather eat out or have takeaway?
Bit of both, I'd say. Both. I'm balanced. Eat out and takeaway.
What's your favourite food?
That varies as well. I like Caribbean food. I'm from Antigua. I like Chinese food as well.
Cool. What would yours be, Sebastian?
Chips.
Chips, Harper?
Pizza.
Pizza, mate?
Yeah, I love chips too. I love chips as well. I love fish and chips on all of them as well.
You ready, mate?
Would you rather explore the ocean or space?
The ocean. I think it's an amazing thing. I know, like, it's so big. Don't know what's in there. When I go to Antigua, I go in the sea, but I'm always wary. I don't know what sort of fishing or anything's in there, but I'd rather know what's in the sea, if I'm honest.
Right, okay.
As it's closest to us, I'd say as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather wear Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Nike.
But I've got Adidas as well, but I prefer Nike.
Would you rather own a Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Lamborghini.
Ooh, no hesitation.
A Lamborghini is my dream car. A Lamborghini. I say yeah.
Would you rather have Mbappe or Haaland in your team?
Mbappe.
Ooh.
Mbappe.
Would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Too hot. I don't like the cold.
Too hot coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Would you rather play the Incredible Hulk or Spider-Man in a Marvel film?
Hulk.
The Hulk.
I prefer Hulk to Spider-Man.
Would you rather win the World Cup or the Ballon d'Or?
This is difficult. That one's hard, man. I don't know. Because I think the World Cup's the hardest thing to win, that and the Champions League, and then obviously individual honours is the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I think, do you know what? Individually, yeah, I'll say the Ballon d'Or individually. Yeah, the Ballon d'Or.
Cool. What about you, Mace?
Probably the Ballon d'Or.
Ooh. What about you, Sebastian?
Probably the World Cup.
Team player. Super. Thank you very much for that, guys. Thank you, Harps. Thank you, Mason. Thank you, Sebastian. Are you going to leave me and Myles now and we'll carry on with the show?
Yep.
Yeah. Are you going to say bye-bye?
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, no problem. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for that, Myles. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Okay, so let's begin the show, Myles. So as you know, the podcast is to shine the light on the secrets and sacrifices all families go through to allow their children to become elite level athletes, and something that's really close to our hearts with having 4 children currently on that journey. So my first question is, can you take me back to your earliest childhood memories of when you was growing up in Lewisham in London, and what family life was like back then for you?
What pro or before pro would you say?
So kind of like primary school age, what was kind of family life like back then? What did you do, any other like kind of sports and activity? Yeah.
Primary school. Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, primary school. I was a bit of an all-rounder. I used to do all sports.
Okay.
Football was obviously the main one, but
Yeah.
I used to do all sports. I used to do athletics. I used to do football, rugby. My dad was a bit of an all-rounder when he was young as well, so I know I definitely got it from him.
Right. Okay. Because when we was reading and when the children were doing the research, they read that you're pretty like kind of rapid, aren't you? That's one of like your biggest like kind of assets, like kind of your pace. Did you do like kind of athletics and like kind of 100 meters, 200 meters as well at school? Did you do sports that?
Yeah, I did. I did more in secondary school.
Okay.
I done cross country.
Okay.
I done 100 meters, 200 meters. So as I said, I was a bit of an all-rounder. I done not just football. I done different activities. I even played rugby in my secondary school as well. So
yeah.
I done a bit of everything.
So with playing all those activities, what made you fall in love with football then? Can you remember?
Yeah, I just think I started playing football at 7.
Right. Okay.
I loved it. Obviously, a lot of my family was doing it before me, and yeah, one of my cousins played for a Sunday league team, and I ended up joining the same team but a different age group.
Okay.
And yeah, from there, I just loved football from then on, I'd say.
Okay. And then did we read right that you first got spotted? Did you first get signed for Arsenal at about 11 years old? Was it? And then did you move to Charlton at about kind of 12?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, what happened is one of my dad's friends. He was a scout for Arsenal. He came to he came to my school cup final,
Cool.
and I ended up scoring 5 goals in the cup final. So I ended up going on trial for Arsenal.
Wow.
But the problem was, I'm from South London,
Okay.
and my dad had to take me to Highbury. We used to train in the JVC centre. It was inside the stadium. They had
Okay.
like a little 4G area
Cool.
inside Highbury Stadium. But because we had to get there for 5 p.m., my dad had to leave work early, pick me
Yeah.
up. So it was a lot. It was a lot to do.
Yep.
Obviously, we did it for quite a while,
Yep.
and they ended up offering me a year at Arsenal.
Wow.
But what happened was the scout that took me to Arsenal ended up going to Charlton.
Right. Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
he basically told Charlton, listen. So he basically told Charlton, I've got a boy that is just about to sign for Arsenal. Like, have a look at him. Would you offer him a contract? And Charlton obviously said yeah, and they ended up offering me 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
So there was a decision for me to make.
Yeah.
Do I take the year at Arsenal,
Yeah.
or do I
Yeah.
take the 4 years at Charlton? And Charlton's like South London, so
Yeah.
it just made more sense
Okay.
to sign for Charlton, even though at the time Arsenal was probably the best team to go to.
Yeah.
Me and my dad sat down, spoke about it, and yeah, we made the decision to go to Charlton, and yeah, so I ended up
Wow.
signing for
So
Charlton.
would you say that's like your biggest or one of your like most memorable, say, wow moments in football? Or can you remember your first kind of wow moment in kind of football where you thought, yeah, this is like, do you know? So we had Manny on who used to play for Dagenham,
Yeah,
he mentioned on one of the first shows that we did that he was at West Ham at the time when Sam Allardyce was there, and I think he's about 17 or 18, and he went on like the kind of the pre-season, and then he remembers being in like say the match day squad for like the Arsenal game at the start of the season, and that was like kind of one of his first wow moments, and he thought like, oh, it's pretty like kind of amazing this, and he was almost in that like kind of bubble type of thing. So can you remember your first wow moment in football?
yeah. I think I've had a couple. I think
Okay.
getting called up to England under 16s, that was a very
Yeah.
a big achievement for me at the time. So
Yeah.
um, I played for England under 16s, 17s, 18s, and 19s. So
Wow.
getting called up for England was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
traveling, kind of similar to Manny, traveling with the first team. There was I got called to travel with the first team, and we took a plane to the game. So we
Right.
was
Okay.
playing Wigan Athletic at the time when they was in the Premiership.
Yeah.
And obviously the manager was Ian Dowie for Charlton. He said, "Yeah, you're travelling with the first team." And he said, "Meet us at Stansted at 5 p.m." And I was just thinking, why are we meeting at Stansted? Like, don't we get like coaches to games? Because I'm
Yeah.
used to getting coaches
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
games wherever it is
Okay.
around the country. So then obviously I spoke to like one of the older pros that was in the team, and they was like, "No, we're flying to the game. So
Okay.
drive to Stansted,
Yeah.
park in a car park, and then yeah, we take a plane to the game, and we take a plane back."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that was like for me, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even realize that they flew to games. I
Right.
thought that
Okay.
coaches all the time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I ended up traveling with the first team on a plane
Wow.
um, to Manchester. So yeah, it was
Right.
that was an amazing experience for me.
Right. Okay. Well, I know we've had. I say we've had
So
quite
yeah,
a few guests on now, and when it's always a lovely like kind of question to ask because you can tell the memories are still really shine like kind of brightly for them. So I mean, like we had Freya Levy on, so she plays wheelchair basketball for Team GB, and she was saying it was like back in 2013, and she was playing basketball in the Copper Box Arena against Spain. There's about 7,500 kind of fans there, and she got a three throw and scored. And she said the crowd just went like kind of bonkers, and it's all those like kind of first kind of memories that just kind of ignite that fire in like kind of people's bellies and kind of gives you goosebumps like kind of listening to them all. So it's always really nice hearing those first kind of wow moment stories. So when you was growing up at school, then would you say you had a normal childhood? growing up with regards to, like, say, going out with friends and like kind of playing out, or was you one of the? So
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, because I was going to say
I'd say I did have a normal. Sorry, yeah, I did have a normal upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah, going to school. To be honest, like when you play football,
Yep.
it's very demanding. It takes a lot of your time, even
Yep.
at a young age, because you're
Yep.
training 3-4 times a week,
Yep.
playing a game on a Saturday. So, like obviously you go to school, then you go to football.
Yep.
But yeah, my upbringing was relatively normal. I did live with my dad. I started living with my mum.
Okay.
Then I moved to live with my dad from 8. Yeah, I started
Okay.
living with my dad. So,
Right.
but my mum was still in my life though.
Right. Okay.
So
Because I know we've had a few guests on now where they've mentioned that to them it was normal. However, so for instance, we had Candice Hall on, a professional swimmer, and she was saying when she was in, say, high school, she'd be getting up at like, say, 5 o'clock to go to the pool, and she'd do like all the swimming and her training before she went to like kind of school.
wow.
And then once she'd finished school, she'd go back to the pool. And then friends would be wanting her, do you know, like to say, to go out or go around to like kind of play and to do things. And she was saying she just couldn't really, but she thought it was quite kind of normal. However, she said like kind of looking back, it probably wasn't a
Yeah.
typical kind of like childhood, which say the majority of her friends kind of had. So I didn't know whether there was any times where you could remember that you couldn't go out because you had like say training the next day or kind of matches at like kind of the weekend. Would you have to go to bed
Oh
early
yeah,
if you had like kind of a match day or on a
oh
Saturday?
definitely.
Yeah.
I just think I wouldn't say that that's not normal. I'd just say
Right.
that that's
Okay.
discipline. It's
Yeah. Right.
discipline.
Okay.
Like, do you get what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
like in the football industry, um, even from a young age, you have to. The good thing about it, it does install discipline
Yeah.
in your life. So, like for instance, as you just said, so if my friends were going out, say
Yep.
my friends are going out to a party or something, and I've got a game the next day, I can't go to that party because I
Yeah.
know if I go, it's
Yep.
not going to be able to. I might not be able to perform to the best of my ability. So
Yep.
it's discipline in knowing when you can do them things and when you can't do them things. And
Cool.
if I'm honest, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a
Yep.
good thing because it don't. It's not just for the sport. I think it installs discipline for your life, like
Yeah.
for your whole life. Like, do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it does help.
I think, and again, from speaking to the guests that we've had on, there's so many that have kind of finished their professional journey and they've kind of taken that discipline and that kind of motivation and that resilience into quite a few of them. Like we've had, say, Jay Elliott on. He was Team GB swimmer, and he's like a mentor now. He has his own like kind of business where he like mentors youngsters who are trying to be, say, professional athletes, and he kind of draws on his experiences of his kind of professional journey to try and help them be the best versions of themselves. And like you said, I think there's so many transferable skills that professional athletes can kind of use when they've finished their journey. So it does instill so many good kind of qualities. So from signing your first professional contract with Charlton, as we've mentioned, and then being loaned out to Notts County as playing time was limited, to receiving the Player of the Year awards at the club awards ceremony in 2008, 2009, to leaving the Magpies in 2019 with mixed reactions, we'd read, to joining League One side Brentford at the time, and even scoring on your debut, which must have been an amazing achievement. Scoring 8 international goals when we'd kind of last looked, to representing a number of different clubs from Gillingham, Southend, Wickham, and Ebbsfleet. All amazing, like kind of experiences. However, I'm sure it's not been without the downsides as well. So, how do you personally cope with the peaks and troughs and the roller coaster of emotions of a football journey?
I think you have to be mentally strong.
Okay.
I was blessed enough to have good people around me.
Okay.
when I was going through things or when things happened.
Yep.
When things happened, I've been blessed enough in my career, my whole career as well, from the start till now, to have people that I can go to, whether it's family members, whether it's even older, experienced pros, to help me through certain situations. I know, like, everyone's situation is different because some people might not have that. And that's when I feel like it will be harder if you got to go through that by yourself. It's definitely harder. But as I said, I was blessed enough to have multiple people I could go to when facing adversity, when facing difficulty. It could be injury, it could be different things. And I'm saved. So God as well, praying. I feel like that helped me. That's got me through a lot as well. Just praying and having people around me.
I know we was when the boys was doing some research. They found an article, and I think it was with Daryl McMahon, who's your current manager at Dagenham. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they dread
no,
that.
He's not no more. He was.
Was it right? Because I know he'd managed you at Ebbsfleet and then at Wickham, and then at Dagenham, and he'd always mentioned that. He loved you because of your kind of winning like kind of mentality, and he said like you had a proper winners like kind of mentality. So we were saying like it must help kind of mentally so much that there's a manager that kind of believes and trusts you so much who will take you from like say club to club. And we were saying like I bet that kind of helps as well, doesn't it?
No, definitely. I just think as a player, you're gonna have different managers. You're gonna have different people that might like you, might not like you. I've had managers that didn't really like me, or preferred other people to me. But I understand that their job is not easy. They got to handle a whole squad. I've just got to really think about myself. And if I'm honest, it's about being reliable. If and taking accountability for your actions. That's what the older I've got, the more I realize that like it's accountability. Have you done everything in your power to stay in the team or get in the team before you go to the manager? That's kind of my mindset. I don't really like going to the manager unless I've done everything I possibly could have done. And it's about being reliable. I just feel like he thought I was really reliable. He could depend on me, and that's why he had them views on me. And it's just about that. It's just about being reliable. But as I said, I don't understand that a manager's job is not easy. And I took accountability for my actions.
Okay, so with that then, we recently had Sophie Howard on, who plays for Leicester in Scotland. And she was saying when she was at Reading, she struggled with a couple of injuries which affected like kind of her mental kind of side, to a point where she wasn't really enjoying football anymore. And she had an extension. Well, she had a 1-year extension, which she didn't actually accept because she said she wanted to kind of fall in love with the game again. So that's when she ended up dropping down a league. Because it was affecting her like kind of personally, and then it started affecting like kind of her family as well. So has there been any kind of specific times that you can think of that have kind of, been quite kind of significant that have kind of affected you mentally?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've had loads of them, but I'd say one that sticks out to me now is when I was at Notts County, when my first year at Notts County, I got loads of injuries. Like I pulled my hamstring. I kept on pulling my hamstring, and basically I said to my dad, I said to my agent, I said I want to quit football. I don't want to play no more. I want to come back to London. I said I'm in Nottingham by myself. I was 19 at the time. I'm Nottingham by myself, injured. I was depressed. I was in the dark. I was doing I was just sitting in the dark. I was so stressed and depressed. At that time, I wanted to quit. I said to my dad, "I'm coming back. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not gonna be up here by myself and not playing football. This is what I'm here for, to play football. I haven't played no football." So what ended up happening is my dad ended up coming up to Nottingham to stay with me for a couple of weeks.
Right. Okay.
Just to get me through that hard period.
Yeah.
Of time, and I ended up paying off. So yeah, I'm grateful and thankful that my dad did that, because maybe if he didn't, I might not be a footballer right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think again with those stories, that all the guests that we've had on have been like so kind to kind of like share. We do hope that it does kind of shine the light on that it isn't just kind of a straight line kind of journey to the top. And all the athletes that we've kind of had on have all been able to kind of share those kind of tough times, those kind of down times. And if we can like kind of shine the light on that it isn't that straight line, then hopefully it can help a couple more kind of professional athletes or elite athletes to almost kind of understand that this will kind of happen, and with the right people around them and the support, then obviously they can kind of continue their journey and they can be the best version of themselves that they kind of can be. So I think we've already kind of touched on this, but would you say that your parents have kind of sacrificed to allow you to be where you are today? I know you've mentioned that your dad kind of moved up for kind of 2 weeks when you was at Notts County. Would you say that your parents have been quite kind of influential in your kind of journey as well, and been able to sacrifice for you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Even I'll definitely say when I was young, definitely when I was younger.
Okay.
Obviously my dad was the one that used to take me to training and to matches and all that and all the other stuff.
Okay.
And even now, I'm a dad. I'm doing the same thing that my dad did, and I didn't realize how demanding it was.
Yeah.
Demanding it is.
Yeah.
But now that I'm doing it, I appreciate it so much more what my dad did, because it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort, and and obviously for me it paid. What he done, it paid off for me, and it got me to where I am today.
Yeah.
But yeah, even my mum, as I said, my mum's in my life. My mum's been in my life the whole time. So it ain't just been my dad, but my dad was more the one that took me to football.
Okay.
But as I said, I'm saved, and my mum, she's Christian, and I feel like she's a praying mum. So in that respect, I feel like she definitely had a big part to play, because I know for a fact she was praying for me the whole time, every day, every game, every training session. So I feel like it worked. My dad was the one that physically taking me to football, and my mum was praying for me all the time. So they both played a massive part.
And that was one of the reasons why we started the podcast a while ago, because as a family who have 4 children, our eldest plays tennis. She's 16 now. We have my 2 boys that play football, and Harper, she plays football and horse rides. And there's many a week where our eldest is away kind of competing with the tennis, whether she's kind of competing in the UK or she's kind of traveling overseas. But then the boys play for different teams, so they have training on like kind of different nights. So you're constantly kind of dropping off to pick up, to kind of drop somebody else off, and then myself and my wife might not see each other for a kind of a couple of weeks. And we was thinking that we were like doing something like kind of wrong, because we thought it can't be that hard to kind of try and get the children in that kind of the right position to have a chance at being that kind of professional athlete, whether it be the tennis or the football or like kind of the horse riding. But from speaking to all the guests that we've kind of had on, and like what you've said, it's for the parents, it's quite hard doing all those journeys, those weekend kind of sacrifices, or not sacrifices, because you do that for your children anyway, like obviously you would for taking them to their activities. It's just quite hard and demanding on the parents from kind of working and then sorting out the timetable for their activities as well. So it's it's demanding.
I agree, and if I'm honest, it is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of your time. So this is obviously it's your they're our kids. They are our kids.
Yeah.
But it's still your time. So, and if I'm honest, you're not getting accommodated for the time right now. Like if they make it to a professional level, it might be accommodated, and even if they don't make it, at least they've learned a skill or learned something from doing that sport. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like definitely is a sacrifice for the parents, and as I said, it's very hard. And as I said, for me, I do it because I want my kids to not just be going to school and doing academic stuff. They need to be doing physical stuff. Like my son don't just do football. One of my sons do football and gymnastics, and my other son just does football. And like I feel like it's important because we have to expose them to things that maybe we didn't get the exposure to. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's difficult. It is not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. So, so Myles, as the show comes to an end, we have a tradition, and we ask all our guests if they have any favourite quotes or philosophies that they've kind of used along their journey. And a couple of our recent guests have both mentioned one that says, "You get knocked down 10, but come back 11," and that was by Darcy Mead, who she's an alpine skier for kind of Team GB, and Candice, who we mentioned earlier on in the show. So has there been any kind of like quotes or philosophies that have kind of stuck in your mind along your journey?
I wouldn't say, as I said, I read the Bible every day, so it would definitely be a Bible verse. It'll be probably Psalms 23. God's will be done, I'd say. Like it's all good us wanting what we want, but it's what God wants, I'd say. So and another one I would say is what is it again? Oh man. What is the verse? God supplies all our needs according to his riches. So I would say when we want something and we feel like, I can't get it, I feel like if we trust in God, God could give us 10 times what we even wanted. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's always, and it's in as you will know, in this world, sometimes fear could stop you from getting your blessing. And this is why we have to not fear about anything. Just trust God. I feel like if you trust God, you'll get what his will give you.
Okay. Okay. So finally then, what's next on your journey? Is there any kind of future plans or projects that we can look out for you at the moment?
I'm currently I got my UEFA B badges, so I do some coaching. But I'm going into mentoring as well. I feel like that's what God's telling me to do. I mentor my Dagenham under 18s already. So I mentor them, and I do go to other organisations and mentor. I just feel like I've been playing football for 17 years, and I just feel like I've got a lot of knowledge and guidance to give. And as I think you said it earlier in the show, that if I can give someone the tools to better themselves, then that's what I want to do. I feel like there's so many people out there, not just footballers, it could be anyone that just needs a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help, and they could go to the top. And I just believe that, that's what I want to go into, mentoring as well.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. So we'll definitely look out for that for you. So Myles, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest on Elite Children, a Family Portrait. I'm sure the viewers and listeners at home can definitely see they're not alone in raising elite level children. And over the past months, we've been overwhelmed by the professional family to come out and share such open, resilient and motivating stories of their journey. So thank you so much for adding to that today. Good luck with your future ventures and any projects that you get involved in. I'm sure with a mindset and a personality like yours that you've shown throughout your career, any projects that you get involved with will be a huge success. So Myles Weston, thank you so much for being a guest on Elite Children, a Family Portrait.
Thank you for having me. It was an amazing show, so thank you.